Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum.
Hello, this is Willie, and you know what time it is? It's Little Fishy time! Little Fishy time! This is where I get my quick thoughts on the recent movies that came out during this summer. Now, I'm not gonna do them all, I'm just gonna do the ones that I had the chance to see. And I'll probably work on a second part during the mid of August. Okay, so this one is gonna be a special one for me because it's gonna start off with one of my 3 favorite things I love the most: Star Wars, dinosaurs, and Marvel. And we're gonna open up with one of my favorite toy commercials of all time, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. You know, the first Jurassic World will always have a special place in this channel since it was kind of my second video I ever made. But I also acknowledge that it wasn't perfect or even smart at all. Boy, Fallen Kingdom made this one look like a masterpiece. Now, in no way did I expect this to be great. I mean, you're talking about a movie that wants to weaponize dinosaurs. At this point, they've embraced their B-movie status, which, honestly, you don't need to be an A-list movie to be good. The first Indiana Jones was a B-movie, and it's still great. I knew there was going to be no subtext or anything important to say, and if they did, it would be all wrong. All I was hoping for was at least a good amount of dinosaur moments as in the last one. Well, outside of the island exploding, it was a very bland, disappointing B-movie. Another disappointment was reducing Jeff Goldblum as a small cameo. The other disappointment was how it was gonna be more suspenseful than the last one. Well, too bad the trailers had to spoil every suspenseful scene, including the plot similarities between Jurassic World and The Lost World. Even though it has nice cinematography, the science is way over the top nonsense, the characters have a drastic change of tone, and what's with this franchise's need to have kids? Why do they all need to have kids? Out of all the Jurassic Parks, this script had the most issues in structure. It doesn't know whether it wants to be about saving the dinosaurs, or be a Scooby-Doo monster flick, which I didn't like the look of this raptor. I mean, they just copied and pasted the last one, shrinked it, and made him black. If there's one way to describe it, is that it's a true Fallen franchise. That's a fish, even a T-Rex never forgets. Moving from one toy commercial to the other, Solo, a Star Wars story. The only Star Wars to ever build such low expectations for its poor marketing, limiting creative control to the original directors, only to be fired and replaced instead by a safer director, Ron Howard, and just by the mere lack of confidence Disney had with this project, which begs me to question, why even bother? Not saying that Solo isn't movie material, but it can be very hard to make us want to know more about his backstory, other than how did he first meet Chewie, Lando, or win the Millennium Falcon, or always talk his way out of trouble? Because let's be honest, as much as the original Han was charming, he wasn't the most profound character you could talk about for hours. Even Harrison Ford didn't see the big deal about this character. On top of that, who can replace such well-known, iconic character and make us forget that another actor is playing him? Well, the actor who plays him is not bad. There were moments where I could see some of the old Han Solo in him. Donald Glover as Lando was good. The dynamic between Han and Chewie was the better part. The rest of the cast, I was just waiting for them to die since they had no part of the trilogy. As a whole, it's better than expected. I haven't found anyone that despises it, but it's a Star Wars story that leaves no impact. People didn't love it, but they didn't hate it either. And that's where I fall into. At best, it's an average movie with no impact that does the same tropes as the originals. I mean, how many times are we gonna see TIE fighters chasing after the Falcon, only to miss him again? I wanna see the ship blown into pieces on episode 9. There's the fish. I got a bad feeling on this one. You know, recently the horror genre has been getting a lot of momentum with last year's Get Out, It, this year's A Quiet Place, now following the momentum, Hereditary. A very disturbing film about the loss of a family member, which leads the rest of the household into depression, insanity, and madness. Coming from Ari Aster's first full-length picture directing, this is a well-made suspenseful movie. He doesn't use the tiring, cheap jump scares. he builds up the tension with some very uncomfortable moments. Once we're vulnerable, he then hits us with disturbing images. Now those are my favorite scares, the ones that depend on images, not loud noises. The music is tense enough to not let you catch your breath. It's not until the second half where it shifts from psychological tension to more supernatural. And that's where many can lose interest. I didn't catch up what was the point of the house dolls, but the second half is done good enough to give it a pass. Its cinematography is well shot, it's well acted by the mother and the kids, and it keeps making you guess who the crazy one is and who will reach its breaking point. Besides, I smell a future comparison video very soon. That's a fish I would not want to play in that house toy. Now we finally move to the big one, Avengers Infinity War. You know, I'm kinda late to the party since it's been 2 months since its release. So I'm just gonna let out what I've been holding for all this time. I learned! I don't want to sound like a broken record saying, it's been 10 years in the making. But it's been 10 years in the making. Building up this gigantic crossover and introducing movies a new way of making money, and we got one of the best blockbuster movies of the summer that has made this pretty much worthless now. Some are hyping it as the best superhero movie of all time. Well, I don't know if I can place it better than The Dark Knight, but I would definitely put it in my top 5 thanks to the ending. Without giving any spoilers away, it goes out of its comfort zone to deliver a shocking blow in the end that we've never seen before in a comic book villain. Now it's nice Marvel is fixing up their villain problem, but was there ever any doubt once Thanos arrived he was gonna dethrone all 3 of them? Sorry if there are too many best stuff in this review, but this is the best Marvel villain in general. He's threatening, he's sympathetic, he has clear motives, and to be the most fleshed out character in this gigantic cast was very impressive. It's a balanced tone of your comical heroes grouped together and your more serious ones grouped together that at times it might feel like 3 movies in one. I would not recommend this if you're not familiar with their 10 years of sequels. For me, I was never bored by any second. Whether they were talking or fighting, I was glad to have invested all this time and emotion to see these characters bond with each other and the successful payoff. That was a fish that should have gone for the head.
I don't feel so good. Where was I? Oh, that's right. I was gonna mention
Deadpool 2, The Merc with the Mouth returns in what it's now immoral about family, in the only twisted way Deadpool knows how. But the whole joke of the movie is whether he can surpass the bar that Logan raised with the superhero genre. And it's still as funny as the last time. In one hand, it wants to look like Logan the movie, as the hero must save a young child mutant from getting killed by a guy with a metal arm. The other is, it wants to look like X-Men the future past with the time travel to prevent a misfortune future with Cable. But it's not just gory comedy with 4-wall jokes, which the Ryan Reynolds jokes were much better here than last time. It's about how you deal with the loss of a loved one and gaining a new member as a family. Okay, now it's trying to be like Guardians of the Galaxy. Because it's still an X-Men story, the rooted themes about prejudice on minorities are very present in here. The highlight of the movie goes more to Domino than Cable, though I didn't laugh as hard as in the first movie, except for 3 jokes. It's not a contender to Infinity War, but it's at least satisfying. I'm just glad Ryan Reynolds and the fans got the Deadpool they've always wanted. Maybe I won't be laughing as much the more I see it, but I'll still be entertained. That's a fish that must join the X-Force. And finally, we move on to Incredibles 2. 14 years it took to finally make this sequel happen. Was it worth it? Well, it's not on the same creativity as Inside Out or Coco, but it's at least a fun, enjoyable movie. Directed by the same guy who gave us the first Incredibles, alongside with Ratatouille and Iron Giant, which I enjoyed all of them. This one opens up where they left off, leading up to some fun comedy with this superhero family. Their bond with each other is enjoyable, especially Jack, who can have an epic battle with raccoons and still be hilarious. I'm just refreshed that it doesn't feel like another political female agenda, with Mr. Incredible being the nanny, while Elastic Girl does all the heroism. No offense to the ladies. Even though I found his subplot more interesting, it got the biggest laughs and the most hilarious facial expressions. With her, it was building up for this not surprising villain reveal. You can pretty much guess who it is the first time you see it. It wasn't even good, its motives made no sense. The climax was underwhelming, but it's still a worth check out. Comparing this to other Pixar classics, it might not be alongside the great ones, but it is incredibly entertaining. That's the fish. I would leave him as a nanny. Now, if you missed any of these reviews, here's a quick recap of what I thought about these movies. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is a thumbs down. Solo, a Star Wars movie, is an okay thumbs down. Hereditary is a thumbs up. Deadpool 2 is a thumbs up. And finally, The Incredibles 2 is a thumbs up. So what do you thought about these movies? Have you seen them? Did you like them? Did you not like them? Leave your comments on the section to see what you thought about them. And if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe for more content. Since this Jurassic World left an empty hole in my soul, tune in next time for a quick and simple video about Jurassic Park. And after that, I'll be making the question, what is Hello Dolly's place in WALL-E? So for now, that's it for today. Ciao!
Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum.